yeah, my mindset was, I guess, because I was, if you like, my bias from the start of my kind of, self-aware portion of the journey was I was grounded in infinity. So I'm operating from there. I'm operating from infinite consciousness, which has nothing to do with the belief system. Because I'm experiencing this. I'm having actual experiences. So it has nothing to do with reading words on a page and believing in somebody else's ideas about things. And so what I wanted to do with that book was to then approach my, if you like, my gnosis and share that in a way that I could paint a picture for people and by examining it from 1,000 different angles. Like I literally tried to approach it from every human angle possible, and very much scientifically, but also, like you said, like if a black magician has something useful to say, I will refer to that. I will cite them. If a rabbi does, or if a fundamentalist Christian has something useful to say, they usually don't, but if they do, I will use it. And so you end up with this ability to connect dots that are meaningfully connected, like not forcing them, but finding relevant data and ways that then you can, if you are willing to not operate from a doctrinaire or doctrinal point of view, that frees you then to build a tapestry, if you like, or a perspective view of things that transcends all of the different rabbit holes and transcends all of the different doctrines and beliefs and dogmas. So you're not enslaved by them anymore. At that point, I realized, say when 2014 or so, I connected with someone in the UK who was also who was operating at a very high level, who helped me to kind of catch up on a couple of things and to see things his way was super helpful. And I realized, okay, well, what I'm doing here is actually pretty unique because, holy shit, no one else is really doing this. Like we are addicted to belief systems, but who's building a perspective view of things that actually moves the whole framework forward from a meta level? Like very few people. I mean, there's more now. But yeah, I found myself quite alone on that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do as well. And maybe we could dig into that a bit. Like I've actually been in like a Christian cult in the past, and I was a devout Christian, and I still, I go to church now and again. I like Christianity in a lot of ways. I also see it as a trap in a lot of ways. Like I see both simultaneously, and I guess for me, I'd love to know what you think. Because for me, when I did a lot of introspection, I realized that within us, our need to be part of a group or a tribe supersedes, it is so deeply wired into us that to actually transcend that, like to actually spend a long time alone or to really have fundamental views from all of your cohort, is one of the hardest things in the world to do. But I think if you actually can transcend that, there's a level of freedom which I think most people don't understand. So, maybe we could speak to that. Why do you think people get locked into these types of dogmas? Even forward-thinking people or people in the spiritualist community, it's very cliquey, right? And then also, for the listeners, what do you think would be, the value of kind of moving beyond that?
I mean, the value of moving beyond it is immense because it's freedom. You set yourself free. I mean, I don't know how else to put it. Like the perspective view from outside of all those bubbles is to be able to look back into them and to have the freedom to look into them. And you can be in the world but not of the world. So you're free. Whereas if you are a believer, if you're a hardcore believer and you've picked your one favorite holy book, one favorite religious book, and there are different types like operating on different levels. But, if, for example, the fundamentalist mentality is a very childish mentality. It reads everything at the surface level, everything at face value, and then goes, this is literally the case. This is literally true. And I'm not interested in any other perspectives. And that is called enslaving yourself. And it's a form of self-hypnosis. So once someone's hypnotized themselves, hypnosis is basically like a highly focused state. You're highly focused on one thing. So it's like you're putting the blinkers on yourself and going, this here is reality right here. This is all there is. It's all here. Yeah. I can see everything, And so that's effectively what somebody in that situation is doing. Whereas, if you look at different types of so-called religious material, like if you go to, the Hindu sort of Brahmanic, what have you, the Eastern stuff in general, that's very different. They are actually pointing you in a direction of transcension. So the transcending of all of this belief, because there's an esoteric, and Christianity is encoded with its esoteric side.
Yeah.
It's just where are people at when they encounter it? Are they at the sort of, the bottom rung of the ladder? Like, are they at kindergarten level and going to interpret it from there, or are they going to go up a few rungs and interpret it more intelligently and esoterically, where they start to see the nonsense aspect of it, like the overt nonsense, but then they can discern the small kernels of esoteric spiritual truth that actually are empowering and which are in there, but surrounded in a sea of rubbish. So, I know I've only answered part of the question there.